No one wants to get in trouble. Everyone's ready to break each other. And but for me, I don't have a problem with that. I served in the military. I've already been waterboarded, so I don't mind being in that in the crosshairs. But that's about it.
I believe that gambling is not the solution. I'm not opposed to gambling, but it's not a way in order to increase revenues, especially when you're talking about pari-mutuels that basically take revenues from the local area. It doesn't attract people from New York coming down here to a dog track, so we're not talking about facilities in which people are going to travel for tourism here. The Seminoles have been somewhat successful in doing that, so that actually adds to our economy. Otherwise, we're taking funds from the local community that would go otherwise to some things. I have no problems with dog racing, thoroughbred racing, whatever they want, but we shouldn't have the system where we're saying that we need slot machines in order to support dog racing and connect it to education. One of the things that I do believe, if you're going to have gambling, then we should partake in that in terms of the Indian gambling. It exists, we acknowledge it, so let's get some revenues from that. And certainly education's a good purpose for that.
Did you say we have no money coming in from the Indians? From the Indian revenue?
Yeah, well, we do. We do with the compact, and so I agree with that. I agree with that in terms of, because Indians have a right to the gambling anyway.
I'm sorry.
Okay. I want to be somewhat objective and realistic when I discuss gambling. First of all, let me say that if we weren't having the budget shortfalls and crisis we were having here in the state of Florida, we probably wouldn't be talking a lot about the gambling industry, and we would have left that be here in our community. Probably the preference of most is to not have it if you can avoid it. That would be mine. But the worm can is open. We have different types of gambling throughout South Florida. It has brought revenue to the state budget and has a potential of continuing to do so, and can be done much better, I think, if we get things more coordinated. I would appreciate seeing a level playing field between the different corporations that are not Indian, and having a fair opportunity in that playing field, as well as the Indians being just as equally able to participate in that, true American capitalistic adventure. But for sure, we better get our fair share of dollars for the state out of that if that's going to happen. We can't put that cat back in the bag. So, wish we didn't have it, but since we do, we need to take advantage of it and do so with great consideration of the small communities that will have nearby. That's it.
Whether we like gambling or not, it was forced upon us. So it's a non-issue about liking it or not liking it. We have it. Now, what I don't agree with is the fact that we have a monopoly. The Seminole Indian tribe is the only tribe, not even the Mississippi's, the only tribe that has bank card games and the full gamut, baccarat, blackjack, whatnot. Now, the Seminole Indians only donate, and I will educate my opponents, $150 million a year to the state of Florida. That's what was signed into the compact. That's it. Now, that is a drop in the bucket. Do you know how much they make a year? A year, $3 billion. $3 billion, just the Seminole Casino. Now, the voters of the state of Florida, the entire state voted that we are allowed to have casinos in Dade and Broward County. How interesting that the North voted that we can have it. That's fine. So we had it. We were going to have it. So let's expand it. I don't believe in monopolies. I don't believe in exclusivities. Let's expand gaming. Put 4 casinos on the beach, or nowhere residential, commercial tourist areas. 4 casinos on the beach, 4 casinos inside. That's what we need to do. Now we have to do 30% profit sharing with each one of the casinos. Las Vegas Sands, MGM, Trump, and Wynn. They all want to come down here. They only want to give 10% profit sharing. I think we should do 30% profit sharing. We should do a caveat that they must build a world-class convention center for Miami-Dade County that has the capacity for 80,000 people, so we can compete with Orlando, San Diego, and Las Vegas. That will bring jobs. That will bring construction. That will bring an economic engine to South Florida. That's what I feel about this.
And the question, the way it was framed, is important to talk about. The lottery system, which was supposed to subsidize public school education, the same way that the half-penny sales tax was supposed to subsidize our public health system here, has been a bait and switch historically. Something's promised and then the rug is pulled from under us. And I think that in this economy, we have to consider everything, including gambling. Anything short of that is political malpractice. But I would supplement that with additional revenue sources. I've written 5 down, which I'll touch upon briefly. There's a chronic underreporting in this state of sales tax. We lose billions of dollars that we should be collecting. We need to put better teeth in our Florida statutes to make sure that we're prosecuting those people, as well as prosecuting those people, and my second point, that are committing Medicaid fraud, stealing billions of dollars from our state, taking them to other countries. We know that there's people that are trained abroad that are coming here, doing just enough not to get away with it, and leaving right back out of the country with our tax dollars. I would also try to monetize our public assets, rent our empty spaces to private industries at reasonable rates, allowing people to come back into the state, doing more private-public partnerships with our public assets. I would also close the loopholes that Representative Robina was talking about, tickets for sporting events, ostrich farms, bottled waters. We have a real problem in the state that we're losing about $1 billion a year because we're not closing those loopholes. And finally, I'd like to invest in recruiting burgeoning industries into our area, health sciences, clean and renewable energies, life sciences and biotech. That's the way of the future. And the only way we recruit them is by improving our public education system, because if we don't have a qualified and trained workforce, those companies will not come here and grow. Thank you.
Can you repeat the question again?
Yes. Basically, it's how you feel about the use of lotto to fund education. Should be more aggressive or should not use it?
Lotto, just specifically lotto, or all gambling?
And all gambling.
Anything that brings revenues and jobs, I'm for, and I can certainly support. However, there needs to be an analysis, because in bringing jobs and in bringing this money, are we going to be counterproductive? For example, if bringing in these jobs is going to force the community to create new jobs and to put a burden on the taxpayers, a burden, then we need to do that kind of a cost analysis. For example, will bringing gambling into a certain area, will we have to increase the police? Will we have to increase the paramedics? Then there's a stop loss there, and are we actually going to be making money instead of just breaking even, or perhaps even losing money as a governmental agency? But once again, anything that brings jobs to our community, anything that brings dollars to our community, I'm 100% for. The lottery money, it's unfortunate that it was sold to the community, and I know because I voted for it. I was a teacher back then, and I was all excited that we were going to get this lottery money for education. But it's being used to subsidize pre-K, and it's being used to subsidize the college system, the bright futures. If anybody's children, or you know anyone who has gone to college and a bright future, well, that's where the lottery money is going. And that's not where it was supposed to go. Not to say that it's not a good thing, but it's not. It was supposed to go towards education. So when we promise the taxpayers something gets placed on the ballot, we as legislators need to make sure that we follow through on the promises. People go out and they vote on an amendment, they vote on the constitutional amendment, they vote on a ballot language, and they expect the legislators to implement it, not to play the games.